right. Worry might feel like it's just in your head, but it actually takes a toll on your entire body. And here's how. Your brain, your nervous system, it activates this flight or fight mode. I, for one, am this worry warrior, and this constant worry keeps your body in a stressed, alert state, even when there's no real danger around. The trouble is your brain is scanning for all these threats that it can't concentrate what actually matters, which gets your heart racing, which increases your blood pressure, and that chronic worry on your heart with the increased heart rate, your increased blood pressure, puts you at higher risk for cardiovascular issues, creates breathing issues. So you're breathing shallow, you have faster breathing, your body thinks it needs to react fast, so your breath quickens, which leads to dizziness and even panic attacks. When you get into this worry state, it's hard to fall asleep because your mind is like on a hamster wheel. So you're just spinning out of control and you have all these things and these thoughts. What if this happens? What if that happens? So your body's in this state of worried and you're too wired to even fall asleep. And most of the time this affects your stomach. So then you can't eat and you're just in a complete wreck. Welcome back to Be Real, the place where we unpack my messy, unfiltered journey through life so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did, whether it's weight loss, mindset, or navigating the chaos in between. I'm so glad you're here, so let's get real. Today, in episode 8, we're going to be talking about the feeling of worry and how it affects our body and how we can shift and adjust that to being more content. Have you ever just laid in bed where your stomach is in knots and you're just thinking about everything that might go wrong tomorrow? Maybe you couldn't eat, you couldn't focus because you are thinking about the worst case scenarios. Because that's me. I am a worry warrior, and it's not a good thing. So this is something that I've been working about. And today we're going to get real about worry. And this isn't the kind of worry that helps you plan. This is the kind of worry that paralyzes you, that keeps you from being present. The kind of worry that makes you physically sick and affects your body. And it robs you from the life that you should be actually living. But I'm here to help you shift from that and give you tools to help you overcome this worry and shift that worry to a more content feeling where your body is not affected. Because let's be real, worry is so sneaky. It disguises itself as being responsible, prepared, even caring. But what if I told you worrying does not make you more prepared? It actually makes you way less present. It's like carrying an umbrella around on a sunny day. Unnecessary. Worry shows up dressed like responsibility, but it's really just fear in disguise. When I was deep in worry mode, I thought I was being responsible, but my body is exhausted. My head just spins. I can't sleep. My stomach is in knots. You feel sick. You think you're being productive, but really, you're being destructive. So I'm going to start with a story where it makes total sense to worry. I mean, this is a heart racing, you can't sit still, gut punching fear, worry. And I'm going to break this down for you guys to understand where it's okay to have these fears, but how we can help our bodies and our nervous system. Because when we live in this sense of fear, we are not being productive. We're not thinking clearly. So my husband was in this tornado. He is at work, which is not in the same state where I live. And my body is in complete fear. My heart's racing. I'm thinking everything the worst. What if? I mean, you can fill in the blanks. The only thing I can do is look on Facebook. Terrible idea, but that's the only thing I can do. You know what I find on Facebook? Confirmed deaths, destruction. I am in complete panic mode. I don't know. Can you guys feel your bodies? These are things that are completely out of our control, but we put ourselves in this fear and our bodies react. In these moments, we make decisions that are not the best decisions because we're overreacting. And that's our brain and our body trying to protect us from something that we cannot even control. But even in this kind of fear, we have ways that we can respond appropriately that will help our bodies, our minds, so we can think clear. The tools we're going to talk about today, they help you breathe. They help you think more clearly and not let the panic take over completely. Because when you're in situations like this specifically, you are allowed to worry. The problem is we allow worry to take over, and when worry takes over, we don't think clearly. And that's what these tools will help us do. Because the truth is, we don't get to control what happens, unfortunately, right? But we can control how we respond. And that doesn't mean we don't get to feel fear. It means we learn how to move through it instead of getting stuck in it. Another funny story about how I am one of these worry warriors. I hate filling up my gas tank. I don't know about you. If you're anything like me, I will wait until the last minute, and or it's kind of my husband's duty. I mean, he loves that. I tell you what, he gets in my car really. I know. I'm on my way to my sister. She lives out of town. And I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll make it. And I pass one gas station and I think, gosh, I should probably stop. But no, I'll be fine. So I continue on my journey. And then there's kind of this, I call it the dead spot, right? I have a digital gas tank or a digital fuel gauge. And I, at this point, have 0 lights, and I'm in this dead spot to my sister's. So I've passed all the gas stations, and I am now nowhere near a gas station, and now I'm running out of service. And I'm thinking to myself, all of the what ifs, and I'm putting myself in this complete worry mode. My body, my mind, everything. What if I run out of fuel? What if I pull over to the side and somebody doesn't see me and hits my car or hits me? What if somebody takes me? Oh my gosh, my mind goes into this complete la-la land of what ifs. Guess what? None of those what ifs even happened. I made it to the next gas station just fine. And to my sisters, I would have just taken these tools that I'm going to teach you guys. I would have been able to live in that moment with so much more gratitude, so much more peace, instead of putting my body through this time of worry. So let's break down these 5 tools to shift from worry and put our bodies and our minds into this content. The first thing is fact check your thoughts. How this looks. Ask yourself, is this actually happening? Or am I making this all up in my head? Because worry is just your brain running wild with what ifs instead of focusing on the facts at hand. So for the example of my car running out of gas in the middle of nowhere, if I would have shifted that and said things like, hey, I've made it on low fuel before. I know where the next gas station is. Those things are facts. When you start focusing on those facts in situations that are right in front of you, you are lowering your stress level. When the questions you are asking yourself are stressing you out, that should be your alarm bells going off in your mind. And you need to be aware of those triggers. Think of a situation where you're texting your friend and hours will go by with no response. Your brain puts yourself in a situation where you start questioning everything. Are they mad at me? Did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Oh my gosh, maybe they didn't like what I said. Maybe they don't want to be my friend anymore. Guys, the reality is their phone could just be dead. They might have got tied up at work. Maybe they have something really stressful going on in their life that they didn't have time to respond. Maybe they haven't even checked their messages yet. Fact check your thoughts, because that thought, they're ghosting me because they're upset, probably is not right. The proof, there is no proof that they're upset. People get busy and we have no reason to assume the worst. Instead of assuming the worst, stick to the facts. If they were upset and they're your friends, they'd probably let you know. Most of the time, our worries are just stories that we make up in our heads. So always fact check. And when we find ourselves getting triggered by our what ifs, fact check your thoughts. Is this actually happening? Number 2, in this one, I wish I would have had in my toolbox when my husband was in the tornado. Create a worry timer. This may sound silly, but you're allowed to have fear. You're allowed to have emotion, and you're allowed to freak the fuck out. Okay, when my husband was in the tornado, I'm allowed to have all of the emotions. When you set a timer for 2 to 5 minutes or however long you need to give yourself permission to have all of the feelings that you need. When you give yourself that space to have those feelings, you're able to shift your thoughts. So when that timer goes off, you can take a deep breath and you can stop worrying about the situation and you can start thinking clearly and you can start implementing the other tools that we're talking about today. Because in reality, that tornado, my husband was just fine. And everybody else on his crew was just fine. Was that scary? Yeah. But all of that worry that I put myself through did nothing for my body. If I would have taken the time to worry and allow myself to have those feelings, but remind myself, what can I do? It's out of your control. I need to think clearly and separate myself and give myself time to think. Think rationally and not emotionally. So give yourself that space. Number 3, what's the worst that can happen? Because the reality of it, 90% of the time, what we worry about never actually even happens. Worst case scenario, my gas actually does run out and I call somebody or I have to walk to the next gas station. Is that annoying? Yeah. But how many times in life have you heard stories of your friends or even yourself ran out of gas? Those stories usually end up pretty funny. It's just part of life. So ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? This one's one of my favorites. Number 4, change your what ifs to even if. What if everything goes wrong? What if something goes wrong? Okay, sorry. Let me change that. Even if something goes wrong, I'll handle it. Let me say that again. What if everything goes wrong? Change that to, even if everything goes wrong, I'll handle it. You know what that does? Feel that. When you say that, that control goes back to you. Now you're in control. Even if something happens, I'll handle it. Instead of allowing that fear to take over and control you, now you're in the driver's seat. Now you're in control. Picture a scenario like this. You're out on a hike with your friends. You're soaking up the fresh air. You're loving it. I love going on hikes. It is so much fun. This is where my brain goes. Worry warrior, right? You get to this steep part in a hike and you look down and you're like, oh my gosh, what if I slip? What if I fall? What if I twist my ankle and I can't get out of here? What if a bear comes? What if a cougar comes? All of these what ifs happen. This is where my mind goes when I'm out here enjoying a beautiful hike. It almost makes this beautiful moment unenjoyable because worry starts taking over your body, your mind. Change that what if. Even if I slip, I will handle it. Even if I slip, have my amazing friends here with me who can help me. Even if I slip, I'll catch myself. Even if I get a little banged up, the world is not going to end. I'll handle it. Even if I struggle, it won't stop me from finishing this hike, and I'm going to enjoy it. And guess what? The whole time, nobody slips, you don't slip, you don't see a cougar. There again, you're worried for nothing. So enjoy the experience, even if. Put yourself back in control. Don't let worry win anymore. Even if worry tries to sneak in, you have tools to win. This brings us to the last and final way to overcome. This list is not exhausted. These are just ways that I have been working on to help me. And my worry warrior life to be more content and more calm. Laugh it off and just keep going. Think about all the times in your life that you have worried for nothing, and you look back and you actually start laughing and you're like, really? Like my gas station meltdown? I stressed over nothing. Like, why? We survive, we learn, and most of the time our worries weren't even worth the energy. Take a deep breath, laugh it off. Remember to start enjoying and loving life again. You can work on these things. We all can. Remember, keep your body in a calm state. We don't want our minds to be in this flight or fight mode. We don't want our stomach to be in such knots that we can't eat because we're worried about these what ifs that aren't even happening. It's not fun. So let's break this worry warrior and change it into contentment. If this hit home, take a second, share this episode. It really does help me. It helps me grow. It helps me learn. And it helps us connect. If you want more of this real talk, please make sure you follow, subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. Always be real.